Salut coders, this is Bisky here. Welcome back to another tutorial. Home greetings to those who are joining us for the first time. In this tutorial, I want to show you how we can create our auth service, which we are going to integrate with Keycloak, and we want to create a user to the Keycloak using the Keycloak Admin Java client dependency. As an example here, you can see this testgmail.com, and we have to pass the details that the user is going to use to log in, and we are going to use the Swagger for our testing, and you can click execute, and this user has been created. Let's go to Keycloak and refresh and see if this user has been created. You can see this is the user that has been created, and let's test with the postman, and if you see, we can get a response. So by the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to develop a Quarkus project that is integrated with Keycloak, and our Keycloak is running on Docker, so you must have a Docker installed, and I have created a Docker Composer YAML in the project. You can see, and you can get this project on our GitLab repository, and it's running on port 9081, and all the configurations are here, and I will show you step by step how to configure the clients, how to run this Docker Composer YAML. Everything will be smooth and running. So let's get started. If you are new to this channel, may you kindly subscribe and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we upload new videos. We need to visit Quarkus.io, and in this page we need to click start coding, and we are creating our service, our auth service that we're going to manage users on Keycloak and also roles. So here we just say com.code with bisq.auth. Then here we are calling it auth, and it's going to be muffin. And here we want to add dependencies. So we want to add Spring Web. For me, I prefer Spring Web. I want to use Spring Web, so others can use REST Easy. Then I want to add YAML configuration, a dependency, and I want also to add another dependency for Swagger, and it's an open API. This one, small right, open API. So after adding these dependencies, I just click generate application, and I'll download the zip file. So I need to open this project with my IntelliJ. So let's go to our POM XML and see if we have all dependencies that we added. Yeah, we have open API, we are okay. We have Spring Web, we are okay. So what we need to do, let's try to run this project and see if everything's working fine. So I think we have hello here in our Java. You see, because I added that YAML configuration, you can see my application is going to be YAML. So in my greeting controller, I'll just call this endpoint, which is a YAML. Let's see if I have this in my URL. For this extension, you can see we can go there for the guide of YAML configuration, and for Swagger, if I go to this is Swagger, let's go to the URL for opening our Swagger. Yeah, this one. So far the endpoint that we have the greeting, and we can test with Swagger, and we can execute, and we get the hello world with as the response, which is this one in our controller. So if I say hello Spring hello Quarkus. And if I come here and click execute, you can see hello Quarkus dev. So we are going to use Swagger for our testing. So before we configure many things here, we know we want to integrate with Keycloak. So I have a project that I did for Spring, which is called Spring Boot Third-Party Integration. And in this project, I configured Keycloak. So we want to reuse the code that I created here. So the link will be in the description for this project. So what we need to do, we can clone this project. I already have the project in my local. So we want to add the Keycloak dependency. So if I go to my POM XML, I will look for Keycloak. I'll copy this dependency and I'll add it to my Quarkus project, and let me add it to here. After adding this here, we need the version, so I can come back here also. Let's add the version. I think the version is outdated. We can update the version. Let's go to the properties. And I can go here. Let's look for the latest version of this. I'll just say Marvin, this dependency, and the latest version is 2404. So 2404, and let me update this one. This is the latest version of Keycloak. Okay, our dependence has been resolved. So what we need, we are done with our dependence. Let's close everything. And for this one, I don't think we still need these configurations. Let's delete. And I don't think we still need this. So what I need, I want to create a new package called API. And I want to create a new package called DTO and a new package called service. So in our API, we are going to create a Keycloak API, and we are going to create a service that we're going to, where we are putting our business logic. And here we also need a configuration. We need to configure. I'll just say config. We want to configure our beans here. So what we can come here to our project, and we want to add the configuration first. So in Keycloak, we need to add this configuration. Let me copy this bean and go here, and we can paste. So the advantage of using this Spring, you can see I can use Spring dependents like at configuration, at service, at REST controller. So that's why I prefer to use a Spring, because I have a strong background with Spring. So here we put our configurations and they will be working fine. So let's now go to so we need to add this configuration on Keycloak, and I'll explain to you later. So we can come back here and we can go to YAML file. So we need to copy these configurations, and I can copy like this, and I can go to our auth. Since that's why I added the YAML configurations, because I know I will be configuring my application using YAML. So we are okay, and don't worry about this. We are going to create a new room together. Don't worry, we are going to update these configurations. So what we need to do, So for Keycloak, we need a domain and we need to run this. So I have a Docker Composer that is in this project, and this is the Docker Composer YAML file to run the Keycloak. Yeah, this is the Docker Composer. Let me copy it and you can get it in the project. So you can check the project on my GitLab. This is the Docker Composer YAML. So what we are doing here, we want to run this on our local. So you must have Docker installed, and after having Docker installed, we need to add this MySQL database because we are going to store our users in the MySQL database. So you need to have this MySQL Docker, and I'm using this version, and I'm using Keycloak 22.04. So the latest version I should do is 24. So make sure this version matches, and we are running in the dev, and it will be running on port 9081. And this is the admin to log in to my Keycloak, the username to log into my Keycloak, and this is the password, and these are the configuration to connect to my SQL database, which is running here. So this is the user and this is the password. As you can see here, this is the user, this is the password, and the URL connection is MySQL KYC, and I'm referencing to this service, so it will get the IP of that service. So these features we can work on them later. And my host name is localhost because this is running on my local host, on my local computer. And for the extension, let me remove this, or let me just comment this. Maybe something that you need to know in future when you are adding extensions. So I will show you. We will go through all these things together. This is for multi-factor authentication. On future videos of our Quarkus, we are going to add multi-factor authentication. So after running this, you just go to your terminal and you just run docker compose app. So currently I have this one running on my, I have this one running. So I'm not going to run this, but if it's not running for the first time, click Docker Composer app, it will run. So this is the command you need. So let's visit our Keycloak. I'll just say 9081. So for the initial screen, you need to click the console page, admin console, then you put the admin and your password and you log in. Once you log in, there are rooms here, which is the master. So we need to create a new room, and this one I will call it Quarkus. Quarkus. I just call it Quarkus, and I will create this room. So my room is called Quarkus. So let's configure this in our project. So in our project, if you go to our application YAML, we have to configure this to Quarkus, and it's running on port 9081, as I showed you. In our Docker Composer YAML, it's running on port 9081. That's why you see this domain and the port here I configured here. So here we need to add some of the things in the admin client so that we'll be able to create user. So let's go to the clients of this project. I can go to the clients and I can go to admin client. So if you're in admin client, we need to enable the standard flow. This one, we need to enable client authentication, right? And we need to configure the standard flow and account service roles. So after doing this, we just put any URL, logout URL, just say local HTTP. Here, put any URL, a valid URL, just say local host 9081 logout, and then you need to click save. So after adding, you can see we now have the credentials on the admin client. If you go to the admin client, we can copy our secret. I will just copy this one and I will update this, and I will paste. This is going to be admin client. Here I need to create a new client which I call Quarkus client. I'll just say Quarkus client like this. This is going to be my new client. So let's go to Keycloak, and from this client we go to the client. This is the first client that we created. I want to go to client, and I want to create a new client that is called Quarkus client, this one, and I'll just click next, save. So we are okay with this Quarkus client. So what we need to do now, let's come back to our clients again. And okay, right now we are going to have issues when creating our user. But before we do that, if you see exceptions, and I want to show you how you can resolve this exception. So in our project here, we are configured, we are done. We have configured everything that we need here. And in our bin, we have configured the Keycloak. The Keycloak, this one is our REST client. It's going to be used to fetch data to our Keycloak, and we are using client credentials, which I put the Quarkus client here, the admin client, and the secret, and the name of our realm, and the URL where Keycloak is running. So it's running on my localhost. So what we need to do now, we need to create an API, and we need to create a user DTO, registration DTO. So let's come to the Spring integration here, and let's go to the user registration, and we want this record. Let's copy this. So everything that you need here, you just copy it from that project, and I will just do this, and it's a record. When you're saving a new user to Keycloak, we need a username, an email, a first name, last name, and password. So let's see if you're trying to add a user here, the information that we need here: username, email, first name, last name. If you want to join a group, after creating a user, we then create credentials, which is we'll create a password. So this information are the ones that I'm sending here. I'm not sending a lot of information from here. So from here, I need also to create a Keycloak service, Keycloak user service. So I want to copy this one. I just want to copy this only, and I'll come here in my service. I will just paste this one, Keycloak user service, and I will delete everything, because this one, in this project, we are just want to create a user, and I will import this. So let's create the implementation of this one, new Java class, and I'll paste this, and I'll say implements. So here I'll just add service from Spring. So with this queue, you'll be able to develop your application in Spring Framework, and you also be learning Spring also by developing with me this Quarkus, because Quarkus allows you to develop in the framework that you are used to. So I was used to Spring framework, but I want to use the advantages of Quarkus, so that's why I'm using a Spring. I'm using Spring Knowledge here. What we need to do, I just want to, okay, we need to add this Keycloak config that we added here. Let's configure this Keycloak config, and let's use constructor dependency injection. If you move your mouse here and if you add this, it's going to be a constructor dependency injection. So we have never used this one. So here, that's why we want to construct our create user. We want to create a new user here. So what we can do, let's just come here and see how we are creating a user here. So we have a user representation where we are setting the details of a user. So let me just copy everything that we have here. I want to copy up to user resources. I'll copy everything, and we can go to our auth. Let me remove this and let me copy this. So here we need to configure the realm. So let's go and add this realm, and the name of our realm is going to be Quarkus realm. That's where we want to, where we are storing our users. So this is the name of our realm. We have configured this. So after creating a user, we want to send an email verification to the user. So we can come here. Let's go to this and let's copy the method called email verification. And from this email verification, we need to get this resource, and we want to get a user resource, and you want to send a verification email. So what I need to do is just copy this and let's paste this here. So this one we need to copy and add it into our interface. Maybe we are going to use this method later. So let's go here and do this and put a semicolon. So by doing this, this one, we can delete this. So by doing this, we can send a verification email. So the process is that we create a user first here, where we are setting a username, email, and last name, and the email verification is going to be false. So right now, I didn't configure the email credentials. So let me just say email has been verified, and we can configure together in the next video how to send this email verification here. So what I need to do, I just comment this email verification, and we can do that on the next video so that we can make the video very short. So after creating a user, you need to create credentials. So that's why we are creating a credential. A credential, it's of type password here, and we can set the password temporary. It's not going to be false, and we set the value of the password that we set here so that the user will be able to log in. So after doing that, we can just add the credentials into the user representation, this one, and we can create the user to Keycloak. After you get success, it means the user has been created. So what we need to do now, we need to test this to make sure if everything is working fine, but we need to create an API to code this interface. So let's just copy. Let's copy the Keycloak user API. I will just copy this. I don't have to develop everything. Let's reuse what we have. Keycloak user API, and I can remove this. I just want to clean up. I don't have Glombo configured. Let me import. I want to import this. And here, let's make it as a constructor dependency injection. And this one, this is the record, and this is our method to create. Let's delete everything. So after doing this, this is our API. So in our endpoint, we just code this users, and it will create a user, and you can pass the details. And this is our authentication service. So we can create our user from here. So let's see if we are able to create a user. I will run the application is already running. So that's why I love Quarkus. So we need to open our Swagger and reload this page. Yeah, this is our API for creating a user. I think it's going to fail because we did add permissions to our admin client to create a user. So what we need to do, I will enter my username, and I'll just say codewithbisq@gmail.com. My username is going to be the same as the email. So I will just copy. First name is going to be Bisq. Muswid, and the password is going to be test1234. So let's test now and see if we are able to create, because in our Keycloak, if you go to users right now, it's empty. So let's test this one. So it failed. The application failed in silent. It didn't mention about any error, and we did not get anything here. So what we need to do, it's because we did not add permissions here. So let's just log in. Let's just log the status here. I'll just say status. Response dot get status, and I will run again and see our status here. You can see the status is 403. It means we don't have permissions to create a user. So to add these permissions, let's go to our admin client in our Keycloak. Let's go to our clients. This admin client, that's why we added service rows when we're creating this one. So we need to assign a row here, and let's filter here, and I will just say manage. I'm looking for the one which is manage user. So this one, it's going to be, we are adding the manage user to the admin client so that it will be able to create users, to get users, to do everything with the user. So we are adding it to our admin client, and I'll just say assign. And I want to assign another one just in case for admin purpose, because this one is going to be our admin. So I want to look for the permission code admin. It's a real management. Let me search for admin here. Here I want to add this one, which is Realm admin, and I'll assign this. So after assigning these services, Realm admin and manage user, let's test if we are going to see if we are able to create a user. and see the response code. You can see now we get a 200, and if you come here, let's go to our application, we get a 201. It means a user has been created. Let's look into our Keycloak and see if we have this user. Yeah, we have this user, and this is the user that we created, Biskim Suite, and we have set an email verified to true here, because I commented here, but you have to put it to false. Email verified, let's see, email verified here is true. I will put it to false. In the next video, we are going to configure this. In the next video, we are going to enable email verification. So let's test the login of this user, and in our Postman, I'll open Postman. Okay, after duplicating this, our username is code with BISC and the password is test1234. Let's see the test that we have here in our Swagger. The password that we put is test1234. It's okay. Let me remove this one. And in our URI, we just need to update here to the Quarkus. This is the name of our realm, and this one is not necessary. We can delete this field. The client ID that we created here, let's go to the client ID that we created in our Keycloak. Let's go to the clients, and this is the Quarkus client. We want to use this client. It's called Quarkus client. So these are the parameters that we need: the client ID, your username, your password, and the grant type is password, because we created user as the grant type password. And here it's the URL, and you need to put realm, and the realm is Quarkus protocol, and everything is okay. We just follow this and we just click send. And it's saying invalid credentials. So I typed, it was a wrong username here. I think I have to paste this. Here I put in I, and I'll send this, and I get the bearer token. So if you go to Keycloak, you can see the session. If you go to sessions, you can see the time this code with BISC is logged in using the Quarkus client. So this is the time that I logged in on Keycloak. So everything will be fully managed by Keycloak, and we have managed to create a user with the Quarkus client admin client, and our application is running on the Quarkus. Our application is running on Keycloak. So if you are new to this channel, may you kindly subscribe, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload new video. Let's meet on another video where we are going to configure the email from these realm settings, and you are going to configure email, and you'll be able to send a verification email. Salut coders.